This next story on the surface sounds like one of those miracle headlines. A missing mom, gone for more than 2 decades, found alive. But when you look a little closer, this isn't just a feel good reunion story. It's complicated, it's emotional, and it raises some hard questions about family, about pain, and the choices people make when life feels just unbearable. So here's the story. Back in December of 2001, a 38-year-old mother of three from Eden, North Carolina, Michele Lyn Hundley Smith, walked out of her home. Now, she told her family she was going to Christmas shop, supposedly heading to a Kmart across the Virginia line inside of Virginia. Then she never came back home. Think about that. Think about the timing. December, Christmas, three kids at home. The kind of season that's supposed to be filled with lights and laughter, family dinners, and all the fun stuff that we enjoy as a family around Christmas. Instead, those children were left with a lot of questions. Law enforcement at the time treated it as a serious missing persons case. There were flyers distributed. There were searches. Agencies from North Carolina and Virginia got involved. Even the FBI spent time and resources chasing leads, trying to find out what happened to this young mother. The original missing person flyer described her as endangered. It said she would not leave her children by choice. That's what investigators believed at the time. Now, that's what the community believed as well. That's what the family believed. And for more than 20 years, that's what her children believed. Now, fast forward. Just this past week, authorities say they received a tip. Officers tracked it down, and there she was, alive and well, somewhere in North Carolina. We don't know where because her location has not been disclosed publicly. After more than 2 decades, Rockingham County Sheriff Sam Page told People magazine that there were no allegations of foul play, no evidence of abduction, no crime that forced her disappearance. Instead, according to the sheriff, Michele Smith told investigators she'd left because of ongoing domestic issues. She was feeling overwhelmed, so she just left her 3 children. Now, we don't know the specifics. The sheriff said that there were no recorded domestic incidents in the household at that time. But let's be honest for a moment. Not every domestic struggle shows up in a police report, does it? Some pain stays behind closed doors. We never know about it. Some turmoil never gets documented. And sometimes people feel trapped in ways that don't produce flashing lights or a 911 call. Still, there's another side to this story. 3 children. 3 young children. Children who grew up without their mother. Children who likely wondered every birthday, every Christmas, every graduation, what happened to mom? Was she hurt? Is she still alive? Did she choose to leave us? For 20 plus years, that question has hung over them, and now they have an answer. But answers don't always automatically bring that peace. One of her daughters posted a statement on Facebook that was incredibly raw, honest, and human. She said the last couple of days had been a whirlwind of emotions. And then she laid it all out. She said, and I'm quoting, "I'm ecstatic. I'm angry. I'm brokenhearted. I am all over the map." That right there, that's real. That's what complicated love sounds like. She even asked herself the question out loud, will I have a relationship with my mom again? And she admitted she just doesn't know right now. Her first reaction was, yes, of course, that's my mom. But then she thinks about the hurt. She thinks about 20 years of hurt. And yet, in the same breath, she says her mother is only human, just like all of us. And she remembers the smiles, the love, the bond that she once had with her mom. And if you're listening to this right now, maybe you experienced something similar in your own life. Maybe not a disappearance like this, but estrangement, broken relationships, family fractures that never fully healed. Life has a way of being messy, doesn't it? And families can be very messy. This story isn't clean. It doesn't fit into a neat little box. On one hand, you can understand someone feeling overwhelmed by domestic turmoil. If someone truly believes leaving is the only way to survive emotionally or mentally, that's pretty serious. On the other hand, though, walking away from your children for 20 years, that has to leave some scars, some very deep scars. And here's another layer that's worth mentioning. Law enforcement and federal agencies spent countless hours investigating this disappearance. Taxpayer resources were used. Community volunteers likely searched woods and fields like we've seen over these past weeks with the Nancy Guthrie case out in Arizona. For years, this case sat in files as an unresolved mystery. And now we learn she chose to leave. She chose to walk out of that house, to pretend to go shopping, and leave those 3 children. Now, doesn't mean that the domestic issues weren't real. Doesn't mean her pain wasn't real. But it does mean a lot of people spent a lot of time searching for someone who had made a personal decision to just start over. There's no villain here in the traditional sense, I guess. There's not a kidnapper. There's no violent crime, no courtroom drama, just human beings. Flawed human beings, hurting human beings, trying to survive in their own way. And now, 24 years later, those worlds collide again. Imagine being one of those children. You built a life. You formed your identity around the absence of your mom. Maybe you've grieved her as if she were gone forever. And then suddenly you find out she's alive. She's here, somewhere in North Carolina, alive and well. Do you run to her? Do you protect yourself? Do you ask for questions? Do you even want them? That daughter's statement struck me because she didn't sugarcoat it. She didn't present a Hallmark movie reunion. She admitted the tension between love and pain, and that's mature for a young lady. That's honesty. And maybe, just maybe, that's the first step towards healing, whatever that ends up looking like for this family, if there is total healing at any point. It also reminds us of something broader. We never fully know what's happening inside someone else's home, do we? We see snapshots, smiles at church, photos at school events, Christmas cards, but behind closed doors, struggles can brew quietly. Again, we don't know the details here. We shouldn't speculate beyond what's been reported, but we can acknowledge that domestic strain, whether emotional, financial, relational, can push people to desperate decisions. And still, you got to remember responsibility for your family matters. Choices matter. When children are involved, especially, the weight of those choices multiplies. What happens next in this story is private. We don't know. We may never know. It belongs to that family. Will there be a reunion? Will there be therapy sessions, long conversations, silence? We don't know. What we do know is this. The mystery that haunted these three children in that community for more than 2 decades has been replaced with a very different type of challenge. Now they're not asking, is she alive? They're asking, what do we do with this? And sometimes closure isn't the end of the story. Sometimes it's just the beginning of a new complicated chapter. If there's anything that we can take from this, maybe it's this. Grace and accountability aren't always opposites. You can acknowledge someone's humanity while also recognizing the pain their decisions caused you or others or an entire family and community. You can feel joy. You can feel anger at the same time. You can be grateful someone is alive and still wrestle with the hurt of their absence. That daughter said it best. Her mom is human, just like all of us, and that might be the most uncomfortable truth in this whole story. Because being human means we are capable of love that lasts decades and choices that echo just as long. We'll keep an eye on this story as it develops. For now, one thing is certain. After 24 years of silence, a family is having conversations they never thought they would have. And sometimes the hardest part isn't the disappearance. I'd love to get your feedback. If you had a relative that you thought, maybe just assumed was dead, been gone for 24 years, and suddenly they appear and you find out that they did this in their own will, that they made a choice to leave you behind, would you welcome them back? Would you want a relationship with them? Love to get your comments. Text me, email me, joe@joeyhudson.com. You can also leave me a message on the MyPillow message line, 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639.